In this episode you get not one, but two stories. Welcome to Red Pill Stories. It's a difficult pill to swallow, understanding that everything you were taught, everything you were led to believe in, is just a lie. But once you learn it, internalize it, and start living your new life, it gets better. Learn from these stories. The following story is called Mr. Grey. So I recently went to the wedding of a friend, who by all accounts including mine has married a nice girl. It will probably work out because they were damn sure to lay out just what each of them wanted to do, and his prenup is ironclad. My friend is an optimist, but he knows the odds too. Some relatives of mine were also there because he knew them as well, having worked with some of them. After his wedding ceremony was over, here is where the fun begins. Having come from a client meeting and knowing that I was going to a wedding, I was looking my absolute finest. No sooner than the ceremony was over, friends and relatives started looking at me and saying that I was too cute not to have a girlfriend. And of course, when I was going to get married, one of the bride's friends, Kendra, who has been dying to get married since the age of 12, and will be last one of her friends to get married, asked if I wouldn't mind giving her a ride to the after party. The conversation on the ride over runs like this.
So what are you doing now?
I work as an investment advisor in the city.
So that's how you afford nice things?
Yes. That is how I afford nice things for myself.
So what do you do on the weekends for fun?
I go out to clubs or bars for dinner and drinks, maybe catch a comedy act if someone good is in town.
Wow, you and your girlfriend must have a great time. It's too bad she couldn't make it today.
I don't date.
You're single.
I don't date.
You're not gay, are you?
No. I just don't date.
Well, how the hell are we supposed to go out?
We are not. Now there is nothing physically wrong with this girl. She isn't fat, ugly or the elephant man's daughter. But she does have that I need a man vibe. As for me, I simply don't date for the simple reason is that I am happy and intend to stay that way. Actually, every time I have dated a woman, I did it when I was actually in a good place in life. But after all was said and done, I actually was worse off than when I started. So it was like rolling a boulder up a hill, just to have it roll back down at you. Thanks, but I only intend to keep moving up in the world, not down. So as we pull up to the reception, she streaks out of the passenger seat crying, because apparently I don't love her. Or she was probably thinking of the happy bride and groom dancing in the ballroom, and how that she was not going to be that happy bride ever. So a few of the bridesmaids rush after her as she hurls herself into the ever-sacred women's bathroom, which for some reason, mystically adds volume and echo to a woman's tearful sobbing, transforming her blubbering swan song of jilted maiden tears into the roaring banshee howl of an old spinster fucking a broken foghorn. I left her be, and helped myself to a beam and coke. The ballroom where the dance floor and dinner tables were was a sight to behold. Not that the place was fabulous, but the surreal nature of the seating. First off, you had two tables. One table were divorced husbands all sitting together. The next table was all their divorced wives sitting together. Of course, it was even more comical when everyone started dancing. They ended up dancing together, because they were too old to find someone young. They ruined each other financially, not to mention fucked up their lives, but they would rather dance with each other than sit at a table with nobody to call their own. Especially at a wedding party. The rest of the tables were set up with family and friends. Now the friends were interesting because their tables were set up in such a way that those who were probably next to get married were all sitting together. I couldn't help but to think how long it would be before they were taking the places of those sitting at the currently divorced tables. Now the night moves along fine. I'm on good behavior because it's a friend's wedding and I'm not going to fuck up his day. Plus I'm in a good mood. I have a group of 7 people asking me about the market, what stocks are hot, and that does nourish my ego. I'm making my way to the bar to freshen my drink when the DJ stops the music to make an announcement.
If I could have everyone's attention please. Kendra wishes to dedicate this song and dance to a man she cares about. She wants to melt your cold heart with her warmth. Mr. Gray, could you please come to the dance floor?
I can now hear some mores coming up from the guests, and there, in the middle of the dance floor, is the girl who I had given a ride to, who had blindly ran into the women's room crying when we arrived at the party, and now this. What was I to do? Well, it is tradition that the bride and groom slip away early from the party to consummate their relationship for the first time. So taking a page from that game book, I slipped out the door near the bar in the reception hall, making my way to the car. If you have never left a woman expecting you on the dance floor in front of a large crowd of people like that, you probably don't know what I'm going to talk about next. But if you have, you feel like you just scored one for the good guys, or bad guys depending whose side you are rooting for. But more importantly, it feels like you shrugged off this dirty yoke, like you were expected to be that guy who finds love at someone else's wedding, that you to have the love bug now, and everyone is a couple now. You feel like you escaped this Mickey Mouse Club Let's Drink the Kool-Aid cult. So I drove to the most secluded, laid-back bar I knew, laughing all the way. This concludes this story. If you enjoyed this video, please share, rate and subscribe. Thank you. This is Canadian MGTOW, signing off. Save yourself. Go MGTOW.